Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be showing you all how to take public domain works of art and make them your own. Today I'll be using this 16th century artwork from Japan, and this is of muscat, and I'm going to convert this muscat into a more modern domesticated cat that we are more accustomed with over here in the West. And first, once you can see this one looks dated. When you bring it in, I'm using Photoshop here. First, you can crop it or just resize it to the canvas size that you have when you brought it in. So that's what I'm going to do. But if I didn't want to do this technique, I could have just clicked here and cropped it, right? But I was happy with what I had, so we're not going to crop it. All right, so once you bring it in, to get rid of the tattered and dated look and get some more vibrant color in there, you could come up here to image and go to auto color. And that instantly gives it a more vibrant look, right? And if you wanted to add a little more flavor to it, you come up here to brightness and contrast and mess around here. Try to bring some, separate the contrast there and get it a little more brighter, right? And that's to your own personal liking, right? So I just wanted to show you guys that right there. I don't know why this is going back to crop. Let's get off the crop. All right, once you have that, the technique that I'm going to use today, instead of just drawing this out of my head, I went online and I brought back a drawing of a cat. And let's get that here. Where is that? There we go. There we go. And the magic wand tool, you can put it on contiguous. I always have a problem saying that, but that just means it's going to select all of whatever color you clicked on. It'll select all of it. So I clicked on white. Oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. Sorry, let's go back here. Click on white, selected all the white, and I deleted that. Once I deleted that, you come here to the transform tool, and this is just a guide, right? I could have drew this cat and got the outline on my own, but this is just a guide to get me familiar with at least the difference in the head shape of these different breeds of cats, right? Because to me, this cat has more of like a ferret look, right? So the trick here is to combine and mesh everything together and make it look almost seamless, like the painting was done with this type of cat. So we go here. And once you have it, the size you want it and it matches the body, the head's not too big, too small. This is where the challenging part begins. And your Photoshop drawing skills, every piece of your artistic skills comes into play. So now I go back here onto the artwork that I brought in, and you begin with the lasso tool, and you start just breaking it apart. So I'll take the eyes and move the eyes up, match it as best you could, free transform. Now let's go to distort. Sorry. Distort, transform. And we're just going to try to match the eyes as best we could. Okay, that's good. Get the lasso tool here. Deselect. Get the nose. Because you want the pieces from the original artwork to shine through. Deselect. Get the mouth. Match that up. Transform, distort. And part of the trick here is to get it as close as you could so when you begin rendering, you have less work. All right. So now I'm going to take this air and move it up here. And I'm going to have to resize that as best I could. Try to get that as best you could as far as that shape, that overall shape. You don't want to make it too big because then it's going to take away from the original look. The technique here is to make this very seamless, that the viewer would not be able to tell what you did here. So I'm going to transform again, distort, and try to match this here with that one. Make it a little smaller because you're going to be using the brush tool to get everything to match. And once you have that down pat, let's deselect all of that. We're just going to remove this head, and it looks insane right now. All right? But we are going to blend up everything and bring it all back together. All right? We're going to be using the clone tool. And the clone tool will be able to clone certain parts back, you see, into this empty space here. So once you have this down pat, now is where your rendering skills come into play, because you're going to have to try to blend everything together using this head as a guide. So now we're going to lower the opacity of this. And now we are going to move over to the Cintiq. And I'm going to show you the greatness of this Cintiq and why I truly love this. Because the rendering is very difficult to do with your mouse and try to get these strokes, get these stroke lines. It's very difficult, and that's where the Cintiq comes into play. All right? So let's move over here and we'll get it done. Right, so after the clone stamp tool, come in with your brush tool. Actually, I'm moving on to the smudge tool first before the brush. And you are, I'm on the wrong layer. Make sure you are on your image layer and you are just smudging. Remember, you can change the size of your smudge brush. You're smudging. And this is where the strokes of the Cintiq will come in very handy for you to make sure you blend everything together. All right? And that is a trick. You're basically repainting this image and trying your best to follow the line that you brought in, or you did your own, of the domesticated cat. And you could still blend out some of the background here instead of only using the clone stamp tool. So you want to use a little bit of both, the brush, the clone stamp, the smudge tool. That way you're not just stuck on one type of style that you're using. You're switching up. Get the clone stamp, we're copying over here and then bringing this here. All right. Just cloning these little areas back. All right, as best you could. Best you could, because you could still tighten it up later. All right. And at the end of this, you will be left with this, right? That is a good blend right there. And after you blend out the background, so I didn't find the one that I did, you will be left with an image that looks like it was made like that. And that is the trick of this whole thing, is trying to get your image, the new one you did, to blend with the old. All of these elements blend together to create one new piece. And that's how you will take a public domain old piece, and this is from the 1600s, that we brought into the 2000s, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, smack that like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment. Any feedback will be appreciated. So until next time, y'all be good and be safe. Peace.